Hi everyone, my name is Mr. Stan, the K-12 Science and STEM consultant. We're so excited that you're going to be joining us for this year's YRDSB Little Inventors Week. And we wanted to give you a resource guide to help you get this program started. So let's have a look. So in this teacher's guide, we've laid out the program in kind of 5 simple steps for you. First, we're going to encourage you to try to do some introductory Little Inventors Week activities. Then, during the week of the Little Inventors Week, you're going to choose one or all of the mission challenges. If you're looking for more curriculum connections, we've provided a link here for you, plus additional resources. Then the whole idea is, can we take our inventions and make them real? And so on section number 3, we're going to give you some prototyping at home tips and tricks on how you can set up your students well to be able to prototype. Then step 4 is we want to be able to showcase and share the inventions that your students have come up with. And last but not least, the resource I'm really excited about sharing with you is the STEM Reads collection. So more to that later. So let's first jump into the Little Inventors Week activities. The Little Inventors Week activities are just there to help you build and frame the concepts of an inventor, an invention, empathy, and different methods of creating with your students. Kind of some introductory material for you to get into next week before we dive into the full challenges. So you can see that the Minds On guide is here. And so if we jump into it, I'll just show you a little screenshot of that. You can make your own template. And again, it just shows a couple of videos about what is an inventor, how to build empathy, what are some different inventions by kids, helping you frame the whole Little Inventors Week. Step 2, you're then going to jump in and choose a challenge. So let's say, all right, as a class, we only want to choose the Oceans Challenge. Well, what we've done in order to make it a little bit easier for you is we framed all the challenges into 6 easy steps. First, each challenge will have a challenge presentation that's been converted into a Google slide for you to use and for you to present. Second, there'll be some sort of empathy building activity related to that challenge. So in this one, you'll get a Jamboard template where students can actually brainstorm together and profile different sea creatures that might be impacted by some of the challenges. Next, as a group, each of the different activities will have some sort of a mind map. So this is where you could do some group sharing about what are some potential inventions that your students have to solve those problems. Fourth, activity 4 is about doing a bit of a deeper dive and doing a bit more research into your invention. And then ultimately, this is where we want you to try to get the students to place their information. On to scroll to it. So here's an example of the Jamboard. Here's the last Jamboard slide. Here's where you're going to be able to have the students either digitally draw their invention, or they could print this off. You could send resource packages home, or they could simply use a piece of paper themselves to draw their invention for the challenge that they're trying to solve. And then they can take it further by trying to explain what it does, how does it work, and how does it help protect the oceans. So every single one of the challenges will have these same 5 steps, but the most important part is probably step 6, and we're calling it the roundup. Basically, it means you're going to try to showcase all the ideas your class came up with, share them with each other, because the act of sharing is the opportunity to get some feedback for you to improve your invention idea, or even spark some new ideas before you submit your final invention for that challenge. If you ever get stuck, we've created these YRDSB teacher resource guides, and I'll just show you a quick screenshot of this. And here it is. Again, you're going to scroll down, you're going to see some introductory material, framing it around opportunities to support anti-racism practices and conversations, more on that later, and then descriptions of each of the activities can be found there. One last component, and this is probably more for our junior teachers. We've also created a student logbook to allow those teachers who want to take the project even further and challenge their students a little bit further. And this is where it's going to allow you to go even deeper into the challenge with your students. And it's a whole logbook where your students will be able to create more than a number of different inventions, do some research, record their thoughts, come up with prototyping ideas, write stories about what they invented, and build in some literacy components, giving you comic book theme, also trying to think and building empathy by switching out different characters, and really recording the research that goes behind coming up with an invention. So that's also available for you to use as well. So here's the space challenge, same format, food waste challenge, same format, and then the energy challenge, same format. And then we've pulled it all together into this little chart. If you ever want to see some of the curriculum connections, they're all here. And this is probably the best part of it. You want to click on this Google Drive folder. All of the resources we've kind of curated and put into a Google Drive that you have access to. And my suggestion is that you create a little shortcut by right-clicking on this, say Add Shortcut, and add a shortcut to your own drive so that you have all the materials. Let's go into one of them to see what it looks like. Let's pick space, why not? So when we go into space, you'll see that we've numbered all of the different activities based off of those 1 through 6 activities. You won't see 6 on here because there's no support resources attached to that. But again, you're going to see the challenge presentation. You might see extension presentations, so some of them have additional presentations you can do. And then there's some Jamboard activities, and then ultimately the drawing sheet itself. And again, if you want, there's a PDF version of it so you can print it off for yourself as well. Okay, so the second part of this whole project is trying to figure out how can we prototype at home. And so we wanted to give you some tips and tricks on how we can make that happen for you and for your students. So we've created this little resource guide here that gives you a list of materials that you can get your students to start thinking about collecting this week leading up to Little Inventors Week. We've even made a little video you can share with your students. When you get into prototyping, Little Inventors has created this amazing guidebook from a cardboard inventor in the UK that gives you 12 different modules that you could do to learn basic techniques with working with cardboard. Making circles, making wheels, folding, making dials. It's all there with YouTube links to each of them. Then, this is the really cool part, there's even a comic book diagram of how to make some of those cardboard cutouts and shapes, etc. Amazing guide to help your students get prototyping at home. All the embedded videos are right there for you to check out within the YouTube channel. Now, we're still working out the kinks of this one here, but ultimately we want to share your students' inventions with us. We want to see what you came up with. So after the June 7th to the 11th week, we're going to have an opportunity for you to upload your students' inventions, whether the students are going to draw it, take a picture, or you're going to capture a screenshot. We're going to have you upload it to a site. We're not sure yet. We're still figuring out those details. So stay tuned to what that might look like. But essentially, this is what it'll look like. You're going to share that final project sheet with their invention, or a picture of their prototype, and a description of what they submitted. And then we're going to showcase all of this in a Little Inventor Showcase online museum. More details to come on that as we figure it out. All right, last thing we wanted to share is we've worked with our early years team and our literacy team to create this amazing STEM Reads collection that will help support you as you deliver and work through some of the challenges within the Little Inventors Week. And what we really wanted to be intentional about is trying to find STEM books for both primary and junior that amplify diverse voices within children's literature and allow you to really dive deep and make sure that all students' voices are heard. So, how can you access some of these resources? Well, we have purchased an account to Sora. The instructions are here, so if you need to know how to get on, this is how you would provide instructions to your students and how you yourself would get on. Once we actually logged in, let me just log in quickly here. I'll show you what it looks like. So here is what the page would look like. You scroll down and you can see all the different collections that have been pre-made, but we don't want to scroll down and search all of them. So we just want to specifically go to the STEM Reads collection. You click on the STEM collections off to the side, click STEM Reads, and you can scroll down and see all the amazing text that we've put together to support this project. Some of them are based on a specific topic. So you can see ones that are related to space, oceans, and other ones are just generic STEM titles that will allow you to have some great conversations about what it's like to be an inventor and a maker as a kid. Well, that's it. Thanks for joining us. This is a live document, so we'll be updating it on a regular to make sure that we get all the components we need. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'm so excited to see what your students will be able to invent this year.